Howdy. We're talking about hurry in our lives and how much it steals from us. T.S. Eliot said, this twittering world, I think it's interesting that T.S. Eliot used that verbiage, this twittering world, distracted from distraction by distraction. There's just enough distraction to help us to even avoid taking a look at ourselves deeply and seeing what we could change. John Ortberg talked about the danger is not that we would renounce our faith, but that we would settle for a thin life where we're just skimming off the surface and not having any depth to our life. Jesus even said, Martha, Martha, you're worried about all kinds of other stuff, and yet only one thing is important, and that one thing is right here in front of you. The greatest need that we have is for spiritual slowdown right now. And how do we get into that? Well, it started with the invention of the sundial, because that was the first guy that put together hours. Claudius complained about that in 200 BC. And then St. Benedict set up 7 hours or 7 different times of prayer during the course of the day, which caused the monks in the monastery to come up with the first clock, mechanical mechanism for measuring time. And then in 1314 in Cologne, he set up a public clock. And then it started. Then Edison invented a light bulb. Up to that time, people would go to sleep with the sun. As the sun goes down and when the sun rises. And people would, on the average, sleep 11 hours. Now, I don't even know how you do that. That seems crazy, doesn't it? But they say that we need 8 hours. We're now down to under 7 hours of sleep. 2.5 hours less than the 1920s. We used to walk every place. We made food from scratch. We wrote letters by hand. No, I'm not saying that we need to return to those time frames, but I think we have to control the busyness in our lives. Sabbath doesn't exist. Blue laws don't exist anymore. We work 24/7. The printing press in 1440, of course, increased things. The studies say, Nicholas Carr, in the book The Shallows, What is the Internet Doing to Our Brain, said that we touch our phones an average of 2,600 times per day, amounting to about 2.5 hours worth. And millennials are about twice that amount. Just being in the same room with our phone without it even being turned on causes us to reduce the ability to remember things and affects negatively our problem-solving skills. And the phone is addictive. And people that market that know how to control that addiction. We're looking for that little dopamine hit. And the media knows how to manipulate the heck out of us. Our attention spans used to be 12 seconds in 2000. And now they're at 8, and the goldfish is at 9. I don't know who figures this stuff out, by the way. It's kind of interesting, but we are owned by our own phones, and our attention is for sale. And Aldous Huxley in Brave New World envisioned a world that was dominated not by an evil dictator, but by our own appetites for entertainment and for sex. And it is tearing our society apart. We'll talk more about this. We'll catch you next time.